18 after 11 o'clock. It is 20 degrees downtown. Still plenty of day to go. You never know, it might get to 22. Don't know that it's going to get to 23, but maybe even 21 like Barbara was predicting. So we'll find out as we go. And I've got to welcome, I'll tell you what, let me do this first. Sorry about that.
Galaxy 107fm.
It's only because I'm excited to catch up with a good friend of mine, Ben Klick again, and believe me, I've got to welcome everybody along this joining us this morning on Facebook Live. If you're going to watch it a little later on over there on YouTube, you know what to do, right? No, you do. You really, it's sub, thumb, bell. Notifications, that's why the bell, you know what I mean? When we get important people like Ben Klick joining us, and believe me, we've known Ben for, well, quite a minute, to be very honest with you, but we haven't seen him in the last couple of years, and I think, hold on, what's going on here? Yeah, something's been happening. Of course, he grew a beard, and I think he's been subject to the fridge as well. He's put a little bit of weight on in the face, but you know something? That's life. Welcome back, Ben. Let me turn you on. How are you, bro?
Grant, I am so good. How are you?
Well, actually, I'm a little apprehensive because in this time I have found out that you are also a very accomplished radio announcer now.
Oh, accomplished. Yeah, no. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps because clearly, as you said, I have attempted to grow a beard over the course of the last 2 years, and it is nowhere near as good as what yours is. So at least I'm trying, but it's not coming in as full as what you've got. So, I mean, what do I do?
Well, just talk to it a lot.
The idea is to talk to it.
Yeah,
literally, I've been trying to get, creams on it. I've been trying to shave it down.
Give it a bit of
you're
stroking.
telling me I just got to talk to it.
Yeah, believe me. The other solution, I'm not going to say on air, okay, Brian? Believe me, I've got something else that you need to rub on it as well, but yeah, we'll talk about that later, literally. But Ben, it has been too long, my friend, since we've seen each other and since we've spoken, and believe me, it's we did, I think, about half a dozen or so songs the last time, pretty much month after month after month. Then all of a sudden, nada. Yet, nothing. So, Ben, what have you been up to?
So it's been 2 years, like you said, Grant, and over the last 2 years, because of the pandemic and everything that's kind of ripped across the world, I ended up going to back into school for music business. So I took a year and went back to school to learn everything from the management side, the financial side, like all that kind of stuff. And during this time, I recorded a brand new record, which is exactly why there hasn't been too much coming from me over the last little while, because I've been wanting to kind of save everything for today when the big release is happening. And so there's 10 new songs on this brand new record, and I wanted to share it with everybody in a big way. And the first thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I contacted you guys. I contacted Barbara, and I said, hey, friends at Galaxy 107fm, I need you guys to debut the record for me because it's now officially coming out, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Well, I tell you, Ben, and believe me, we've known that this has been coming up now for a couple of months, and in fact, every week I've been saying to Barbara, when's Ben coming? When's Ben's music coming? When are we going to start doing this? When we received it, loved it. Of course, we had Fishing Off the Moon for a little while, but believe me, Life Worth Living, Meet Me at the Dance Floor, or On the Dance Floor, Something About You, and Hardworking, Handshaking, Manning. We're going to be doing those ones as well. They come along a little bit later, if you know what I mean. So we're literally chomping at the bit, waiting to get this on air so that we can start promoting it, start getting behind it, and start seeing what the reaction to our audio audience was going to be. Believe me, it's an absolute pleasure too, by the way, to have Sean Simpson on board. Nice. We love you, Sean. We really do. Dwayne Watson's on board as well, by the way. Rod Hansen is here. And Tina Tina, absolutely, I knew you would be here because Ben, I was talking to Ben about you very, very earlier on.
That's right.
By the way, Tina comes out of Oklahoma, and her daughter April. We love April as well. And we all wish you all the best over there in Oklahoma, making sure that, you know, the COVID thing, you're taking care of yourself. Literally. And hello to Terry from Tina as well. Now, Ben, fishing off the moon.
Yeah.
Do you do this often?
Well, I mean, if I could get all the way up there and fish off the moon, like if I had to take a rocket ship or something and go, I probably would. But no, I'm sad to say that I don't actually get all the way up to the moon to do anything like that. I stay pretty much firmly planted on planet Earth for the most part.
You know, here's something, and I think you might appreciate this, is that our scientists literally almost every day are finding new planets, if you know what I mean, in the search for the Goldilocks kind of dream planet for us.
Yeah.
But they have, the audacity to not only name those planets, they don't go there, they don't ask the residents, can we name your planet? You know what I mean? Oops. But at the same time, they also name the moons, right?
I think so. I mean, I don't know what the names or what the names of the moons are called. But I mean, I just know that ours is moon. That's all I know at this point.
Exactly. This is the point I'm getting to, is that ours is just called moon. I mean, they come up with these wonderful names for all the moons and round that they find, even give them letters and names and numbers, all that sort of stuff. But again, bland. Ours is just called moon. I think, Ben, that you and I should get together in our radio careers and change. I think we should rename the moon. What do you reckon?
Sure. Do you have something in mind?
Yeah, how about Celestial Body Brian?
Oh, dude, like, I gotta take like a deep breath in order to say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, well, it would look good on a check as well, wouldn't it?
That's very true.
You know, so just something, you know, food for thought. But in the meantime, let's go to the music here, joined live by the man himself. Yes, Ben Klick, and Fishing Off the Moon. How you feeling, Ben? You okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is everything sound okay on your end? Everything's fine?
Yeah, believe me, you don't want to know how my end sounds.
I shouldn't have asked.
No, you shouldn't have. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to Grant. Come on, my buddy. Literally.
Nice to see you.
Actually, I'm going to do that. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Gosh. Let's go with this. Oops, no, let's not go with that one. Let's go with this one.
How are you doing?
Oh, you'll see. I'm being cheeky now. I am. Ben, the next one we have coming up for you is Life Worth Living.
Cool.
It says here, Ben, that you're a fun-loving entertainer and storyteller.
Yes.
Okay, tell me a story.
Okay, so today I went on a. Are you in kilometers or miles there?
Kilometers.
Kilometers? Okay. So I went on a 38.5 kilometer bike ride today. And I haven't been for, I want to say, like that long of a ride in probably about a year. So I decided just to go for it today and bike down some hills. And then I went along what we call the rail trail, which is about, I want to say, a 10 to 15 kilometer just flat trail all the way from one end of Kelowna to the Kelowna airport. And then it loops back around along the top, comes back. Anyway, so I'm following along this trail and haven't done this for a while. And the very, very end, there's about, I want to say, 2 kilometers of just straight uphill. And we've got these little scooters in Kelowna now that you can rent them on the side of the street and just on your phones or whatever.
Lime scooters.
So, yeah, like those.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I found one, and because it was the last 2 kilometers of uphill, I took this scooter and I stuck it on the front and I turned it on, so I could go up the hill, so I didn't have to work about it. So everything was fine, and so I didn't really work the last 2 kilometers. But nobody has to know that. But I went on this 37.5 kilometer bike ride, and now I'm here.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Well,
Here's your story.
believe me, bro, your 37-kilometer bike ride will be nothing compared to the marathon you're going to go through with me today.
Perfect.
Absolutely. At the same time, I got to welcome along Linda Temple. Welcome back, Linda. It's nice to have you.
Ben, Linda.
Yep. And Travis
Hansen.
Pickering is joining us.
Rod Hansen.
Rod Hansen, yes, I know.
Travis Pickering,
Sharon
who's
Marie
coming
is-
up for an interview.
And Nada Nuts on board
so
too.
thank you,
When do you
Travis.
get time to do that?
I'll get hold of Pinky for you. I'll organise an interview, Travis.
Let's
Thank
go
you
back
for
to
joining
the
us and everyone else. I can't remember
Okay.
it all, but he's been.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and it is an absolute pleasure today to be joined by a very, very good friend of mine, Ben Klick, and I'm very honoured that he takes the time out to talk to us here in New Zealand. I really, really am. Having said that, Ben, fishing off the moon, very, very laid back kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's not the off-roading Ben Klick that I'm used to.
No, it was a little bit different. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because when I went into the recording studio to record that song, the musicians in the room, they said, so what kind of vibe are you going for? And I said, well, a little more laid back, but imagine Michael Bublé discovers the cowboy hat. And they kind of looked at me and they thought, yeah, it's weird. I don't know what you're talking about. And then that came out of it. And I thought, yep, perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And we wanted this big band sound. We wanted a little more kind of a jazz influence, something that's a little different to like the off-road that was out a number of years ago, just to show a little more of the progress, a little more colorful in when it comes to musicality and things like that. So, yeah, we went with Michael Bublé discovers a cowboy hat for that one, and just kind of went with it.
Well, I got to be honest with you. The picture I had prior to you saying that, literally, is the seat, you know, the dicky, the little, what is it, a bow tie, white jacket,
like a
you know,
tuxedo type
black
thing.
pants, white jacket. Throw the cowboy hat at it, and it's just that completes it.
There you go. Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah, with shoes. Come on, would you use shoes or cowboy boots?
No, I was doing dress shoes for the last couple of years. They're cowboy boots. I love them and I'll wear them around. But I find that like dress shoes have been a lot more comfy just to kind of stand around.
Yeah, I get you. I do. Trevor Stride is joining us as well. Hi, Ben, he says. Nice to have you on board, Trevor. It really, really is. Linda Temple, I knew it. Always said you could be like Bublé.
That's awesome.
We have the 11-year-olds.
Hold on.
We have the 11-year-old that we're promoting.
Oh, yeah, Miss
Daddy.
Reese is, yeah, believe me.
Daddy's online.
One young lady that we have recently discovered, believe me, the team have discovered this young lady. I've been playing her on the breakfast show. She's getting quite a following as well. And believe me, she's only 11 years of age.
Wow.
Fantastic, you know what I mean? And I got to be honest, one young lady coming out of Florida we were talking to the other day, wiser beyond her years. She's 14 years of age, and really, I think she's going to be a cross between Taylor Swift and Britney Spears.
Wow. Very cool.
Very cool, and already there's a Grammy selector looking at this young lady as well too. So
Awesome.
it just so happens we know the guy and put him on to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says, Grant, that's fantastic. I'm going to follow up on this. So believe me, Alex Freeman, if anything comes of it, very cool, very, very cool. Having said that, Ben, I just want to take you back down memory lane. Do you remember this?
Hey, this is Ben Klick, and you're listening to my buddy Grant Reed on Galaxy 107 FM.
Gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. That sounds like 2 years ago, younger me.
Yeah, Well, it kind of does sound like a younger you. So, Ben, how would you like to do me a couple of new ones? Something, that we can update.
I can absolutely do that.
Awesome, my friend, because believe me, we do still play these. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we play them often, especially the country one on a Sunday. You get hammered on that one, I got to be honest, you really do. Now, I reckon it's worth, at least a life worth living. So tell me about life worth living. I haven't got one.
Wow. So I would, Life Worth Living, this song was one of the first songs I ever wrote back in, I want to say it was about 2015 in Nashville with Riley Madison and Steve Dean. And these two writers and friends of mine, we got together and we wanted to write this uplifting song that was upbeat, that was just something that was really, really cool for everybody. With the whole theme being the idea of just for the rest of your lifetime, my lifetime, I'm going to make a life worth living. That was the entire message and the theme. And that idea was the basis around this brand new record being love, life, and family. And so as the course of the record goes on, you'll hear a lot of the different influences over the last 2 years of my life, as well as everything that has come from it. When I first started going to Nashville, and this song has just kind of come back to the surface and really meant something to me when I recorded it over the past couple of years. And very excited to finally be able to have this out. It's the title track to the record. It's the first song that's on the record. And it was just a lot of fun to record in the studio with the band. So, yeah, this one's Life Worth Living.
Ben, believe me, when you brought out Legacy, I thought, what's going to come next? What comes after Legacy? You know what? It's a life worth living.
For the rest of my lifetime, I'm gonna make a life worth living.
Yeah, I love this, bro. I really do. Now,
well, thank you.
Did you get this done in your own studio, or did you go into a studio and get it done?
Yeah, so there was two of the songs, so Fishing Off the Moon and Meet Me on the Dance Floor were done about, I want to say, 3 weeks before the American and Canadian borders shut down and all of the studios in Nashville shut down and things like that. So I was one of the last artists to go into a studio and record with musicians professionally while I was down south. And then everything shut down. And I came back here and started doing everything virtually over Skype and over Zoom and things like that. And the next song that was done was a song called Wonder of the World. And that one was done completely virtually. So everybody, I recorded my part here and sent them to the drummer, then sent that to the bass player, then sent that everywhere, and had everybody film what they were doing. And then we put a little video together and put it out. So that was kind of round two. And then the opportunity came up where the studios down in Nashville were opening back up, but we were under lockdown up here. So we couldn't actually fly and go, and I couldn't do anything physically in the studio with anybody. So I was here in my little home studio setup over Skype with all of the musicians who were down in Nashville in the same room in a professional studio. And I was able to talk to them like this, and I produced the rest of the record from here. They sent me all the tracks. I put all my guitars and the vocals and everything like that on the rest of the record. Sent it all back down to Nashville to have them mix it and master it and do all that kind of stuff. And now we've got the full-length album that's coming.
That's very, very cool. Trooper Stride says, tell Ben, please, his song Legacy is coming up in my show tomorrow morning. And now, Trevor, are you a DJ? And should I be scared?
No.
I'm being watched by other DJs now. Oh my God!
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Sit up straight.
I know, it's the posture.
Yeah, exactly. Sit on your coattails. Bring your shoulders back. I was taught by
But yeah, that's an older song, but it's a great one.
a news presenter for television. He was one of my professors at university. He says the trick is to sit on your coattails and bring your shoulders back. It frees up your lungs, you know what I mean? To which he passed away just last month.
I'm sorry.
Philip Sherry.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he passed away just last month, but believe me, legendary in
He's not
the game of
good.
radio
No,
and
he's
television.
great.
This guy.
Oh, doesn't matter.
Sean Adams. Sean, thank you for tuning in this morning. And by the way, we did actually, I don't know whether you heard it, but we did actually play Other Side of Midnight this morning. Absolutely brilliant too, by the way. And good job, thank you.
I think he knows Ben.
He knows Ben. Sean Adams is on.
Oh, that's cool. I've heard Linda Temple's on, Sean Adams is on. There was Rod Hansen. I gotta say hi to Rod.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And I'm sorry it's been so long that I've either been completely gone or there's no new music or anything like that. But it's all coming.
All
Tomorrow,
right.
everything's here.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go back to the desk, folks.
Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, joined today by, well, I think a legend in the making, I really do. I have always said that Ben Klick is going to be somebody in the music industry, and he's proving me right time and time and time again. He really, really is. At the same time, Trevor's just written me a book, to be honest, but I'll read that to you later on. But I got to welcome along as well, Luann, MC, and Travis Pickering as well. Nice to have you guys on board. Dwayne Watson, brother. Dwayne, by the way, Ben, wrote a song about me. Well, it kind of started out like that. That was the intention. When I spoke to him about it, he says, well, you know, my ego sort of got in the way, and, well, you're in the song now. It's like, oh, hey, cheers, nice. But at the same time, 60 going on 17, I'm always 21. I'll never be. Look, this is what radio does to you, okay? It really does. So I'm trying to give all the DJs, including Ben out there, a little heads up. You know, a couple of months down the track, you might end up looking like me. You never know, Ben. But having said that, my friend, you're an accomplished engineer yourself. So it really, really amazes me the quality of work that comes out of your productions. It really, really does. Being an engineer myself, as you know, I don't listen to music as a fan word. I'd listen to it as an engineer or as a DJ, you know, as a commercially viable, stuff like that. I'm sure you can understand that.
Yeah.
So, how much work did you put in to meet me on the dance floor? Because this is an exceptional piece of work.
Well, thank you. So it's funny because the actual song itself, I wrote it with a friend of mine, Jeff Johnson, and we wrote it about 45 minutes from my front doorstep here in Kelowna, in British Columbia, Canada. So we wrote about 45 minutes from here. It took about an hour and a half to write the entire thing front to back, and we were really, really happy with the entire thing. And so about an hour and a half there, and then I sat on it for a little bit, just to kind of really soak in what it was and really like hear the different instrumentation and everything like that. And then ended up going down to Nashville. And that was one of the first songs that I recorded in the studio before the pandemic hit and shut down all of the studios in Nashville and that kind of stuff, and live shows weren't a thing anymore. So this was one of the first songs that we did. And I knew that I wanted all, like, the drums, the guitars, and the bass guitars, and the keyboards, and everything like that. But the overall process, from beginning to end, I mean, the songs, I want to say, is about 3 minutes long, but it took about a year in order to actually put everything together, piece all of the stuff together, and finally put something that I was extremely, extremely proud of and ready to show everybody out there. So it's it's funny to me how just like a 3.5 minute song, a 3 minute song takes so much like of everybody else's time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears and things like that, and passion, and puts it into all of these tracks.
You know, Ben, welcome to the engineering lifestyle. Welcome to the music industry. Yeah. Believe me, there is so much involved just to make a song. I mean, people don't really appreciate it until they actually have to do it for themselves. You know what I mean? And believe me, I've spent many years sitting behind a desk of some sort, either in a studio or front of house, if you know what I mean, travelling around with some of the best bands in the world. And you don't really get a good grasp of it until you're actually in that seat. You know what I'm
Very
saying?
True.
So, Ben, with a lot of respect from an old timer that's been doing it for way too long, I want to encourage you to keep this work up, because this is good work.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Grant. And I mean, it's a fun process. I love doing that kind of stuff, and being able to take a vision or take a song and make it something, make it like just for someone to hear it, someone to hear the fun of what we had in the studio recording it, for them to experience the same thing on the other side is what it's all about.
Ben, just before we play the track, and I've got to do this, Trevor Stride, 10 a.m. country show tomorrow. If you want to tune in, www.mfnradio.com. Go and check it out. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Believe me, Trevor, absolutely rocking country show. It really is. And somewhere in there, I know Ben Klick's going to be a feature. He really is. Here he is, right here at Galaxy with Meet Me on the dance floor. Sorry, Ben, I had to give him a plug for you.
It's okay, it's awesome.
Ah, dear. By the way, we're in 75 countries this morning.
Holy wow, that's awesome.
284 cities around the world are tuned in right now. So congratulations, Ben. We have become completely global. There isn't a country in the world that somebody isn't listening to us in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Congratulations.
It's been a lot of hard work, bro. It really has. But if it wasn't for people like you, and believe me, they don't only just tune in to see and hear the interviews, but the artists themselves go out and tell all their friends. Before you know it, they're all tuning in as well, if you know what I mean. And it's grown exponentially since then.
Yeah.
It really has. So, and I'll give you the numbers of how many were tuned in once we finish this. No use giving it to you now because it's still going up. You know what I mean?
Totally fine.
But it's an absolute pleasure to have you, bro. I'm really happy to see you.
It's nice to finally be back and be able to talk to you and talk to Barbara and just kind of hang out again. Every time that I've sent Barbara a message to say, okay, the music's ready, and then she said, okay, this is the date, and then I've got to push it out a little bit, I felt so bad because I just wanted to just give it to you. I was about to give you just like, I was going to come on here and film something and give it to you guys just to play, because I've missed doing all of that kind of stuff over the last however long. So I'm glad we're actually able to do this, and like every other time we've done it, you guys are the first to play the songs on the radio. So thank you very much. It's really cool.
Well, you know, I think we have become a legacy together with your music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not a snipe at your last record. Believe me, I really do believe that we have longevity together, bro. I really do. And I look forward to seeing what you're up to and new music from you all the time. I really do. Next one is Something About You, and I really feel that's quite accurate, Ben. There is something about you.
You can meet me on the dance floor. Oh,
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 13 away from lunchtime, 12 o'clock noon. 20 degrees, and it's sort of stagnant there. I still feel it's going to get to 22 at least, which means that Barbara is only one off it right now. Literally, she chose 21 and 23. Couldn't make up her mind. She's a woman. It happens. Having said that, I've got to welcome along Joanna Winkle as well. Nice to have you on board, Joanna. And Linda Temple, love it. Yeah, absolutely. We do. We really, really do. There's definitely something about Ben. And I know that you know what I'm talking about, Linda. I really do. Now, Ben, when we first went on this, and I says, tell me your story, and I didn't actually expect you to take me for a tour through Kelowna and the ingenuity of how to use a lime scooter and stuff like that, which is really, really cool. But I've got a few stories I can tell you, which I'll tell you later on after we do this. But I do have one young lady coming out of Italy at the moment. Her name is Domino, and she asked, Ben, I realise it's going to take hard work, but tell me, what's the secret to your success?
Wow, what a really cool question. This is coming from, what was her name? Domino in Italy?
Domino coming out of Paloma, Italy.
Wow, that is so cool. I've actually been to Italy a number of years ago, and gorgeous. Absolutely love it. Would love to go back. Secret to my success, for me, I have to give it up to, first and foremost, my family. For those that follow along and that have had the pleasure of meeting my family, they have been nothing but supportive over the years. And actually here at the house, we're all doing a big family dinner once I get off the air and things like that. So really looking forward to being able to be with all of them. So I would say first and foremost is just the family and the support that they've given me ever since I was little growing up, and my first guitar lessons and coming to all the shows and everything like that. So that would be number one. And then I would say number two would definitely be people that I've met over the years. And that doesn't just mean people within the country music industry or the music industry, kind of like there's Grant and Barbara and the radio stations, and they've been a huge part in my personal success. But there's also been people like fans, and those shout out to people like the Rod Hansons of the world and Linda Temple, and you as well, Domino from Italy, who's listening in. It's you guys that help me do what I do, and I don't get to just play music to play music. My whole thing has always been I want to play music to be able to give it to everybody else. And if I'm just kind of sitting in my room playing for myself, that's one thing, but it's also to be able to share that with everybody else and the people that are listening and watching on Facebook Live and that'll be watching later on YouTube and everything like that. So for me, it's everybody that has come around me that has created this success in what I do today.
Ben, a young lady by the name of Bethany coming out of Ayr, Scotland, is asking, once we get past this COVID virus, would you contemplate coming to Scotland and performing in front of Scottish audiences?
Scotland, I would love to come to Scotland. So it's funny, I've got family over in New Zealand, which is funny. I've got family in England. And one of the first people here in Kelowna that gave me my first ever show when I moved here back in 2006 is originally from Scotland. And he has said that I need to go over to Scotland and hang out over there, play some shows and just visit. So I would absolutely love to come and visit Scotland. Do you have a place that I can stay in? Because I'm going to need somewhere to crash for a little bit.
Well, if you don't, I can find you a few places over there. Believe me, I've got some very, very good friends coming out of Scotland, Ireland, London. Believe me, I was talking to a young lady coming out of South London just a couple of days ago, to be very honest with you. So if you're ever thinking of going to the UK and starting around London and working your way up through to Ireland, stuff like that, I have some friends. I know people. I do. Rod Henson, Darcy and Amanda all say hi, my friend. They're right there, listening right
Ben Hanson
now.
family, that's awesome. Hi, guys.
It is an absolute pleasure to be able to bring you to the Hanson family. Ryan Neville, Hal from Ryan. Nice to have you on board. Midnight Blues Band, absolutely brilliant. Ryan has been a superstar here at Galaxy as well. In fact, we've had him on television with York's World, and he's now actually getting work done by York, who's mastering all of his stuff. So, well done. And hope the good lady wife is feeling a lot better, Ryan. We have been really, really concerned, all right? So keep us in the loop with that, okay? We are caring. We do care. But in the meantime, let's do something about you, Ben, because I've always thought there's been something about you. Tell me about this.
It's fun. This was another one of those songs that I wrote. The same guy I wrote "Meet Me on the Dance Floor" with, Jeff Johnson. I wrote this song with, and over the last 2 years, like I said a little earlier, this entire record is about life, love, and family, and it's been kind of the story of my life over the last 2 years. And ever so recently, there has been somebody that has come into my life that has really changed me as a person, and I'm extremely grateful for her and everything that she's been able to do for me, and we've been and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is where the song comes from, and it's got a little bit of influences with her in it. So this one's Something About You.
Well, Ben, I knew there was a link there. I really, really knew. That was why, basically, I was leading up to when I first spoke to you this morning about your good new lady love life, and I'm so very, very happy for you. I really, really am. But at the same time, I'm going to let you know, 1,399 requests for Something About You here at Galaxy. That's not bad. 1,399 requests.
Not bad at all. I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah. And Ben, I don't seem to be able to get through a breakfast show without playing hard-working, handshaking and arm manning, okay? So believe me, I'll give you the stats for that one. But believe me, our breakfast show is primarily set up from the amount of requests per song, per artist, It goes from reception, literally she goes through and gets all the requests and everything. Goes through to production work it all out. Don't know how they do it. They do their magic, and then I get the show in the morning, right? Yeah. And again, it is a pleasure to see the name Ben Klick come up in the mornings.
It's really cool to just like every time Barbara will send me a message, and she'll and on Facebook, and she'll take a screenshot of whatever song is playing, and there's usually it's either off road. I think there was Hard Work and Handshake and Amen the other day that she sent me. So it's really cool to be able to see the people that are listening to you guys responding so well to just a guy that's on the complete opposite side of the world, and still coming and playing music for him.
Believe me, feed off this one, bro, because this one's got a good result behind it, okay? And all I can say to you, Ben, is that if this is indicative of the rest of the album, what we've played this morning, I can't wait to get you back and do the rest of the album.
We're going to have to do the rest of it, because the rest of it, there's a lot of emotional stories behind it. There's a lot of really, really personal stuff. As you mentioned, there was a song called The Letter on it, which in the actual song itself, when people listen, it's got my mom's voice in there in the very beginning and the very end, that she's actually talking to me as a kid growing up. So there's a lot of really personal connection throughout the entire record.
Interesting.
Very, very cool, because I still got this picture of you doing things in your lounge. I think you came out with a video somewhere. I think I saw it either on Facebook or something. You guys were having some fun in your lounge at some stage. But I got to say, Ben, you've come a long way since that little purple microphone.
Oh gosh. I mean, it was the purple microphone, it was the plastic guitar, it was all that kind of thing. It was Shania Twain that got me started. So I mean, it's been definitely a journey over the last however long, but it's fun, and I love being able to do it.
She owns property here in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Absolute pleasure today, ladies and gentlemen, to be catching up with a good friend of mine, my buddy, Ben Klick. God, I've been wanting to do that for a long time, actually. I really have. It is 2 minutes away from lunchtime, 12 o'clock, 19.6 degrees. We'll call it 20 degrees, round it up. Feels warmer that way, but it doesn't feel like winter, I've got to be honest. Now, Ben, do you know much about New Zealand?
Honestly, I know that every time that you guys are called Kiwis, and I love that. And when I was, side note, complete side stretch, I went and did a pottery class with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. And when we did this, there was a Kiwi sitting beside us, and I had to ask her. I said, "So you're from New Zealand?" And she says, "Oh, yes." I said, "So are you guys actually called Kiwis?" And she said, "Oh, yes, we're called Kiwis." So I love the fact I like Kiwis. I like you guys, but I also like the little fruits. I think those are really good too.
Well, we're not called Kiwis because of the kiwi fruit. Okay?
Okay, well, you fill me in.
The kiwi is literally our national bird.
I totally forgot it's a bird.
Yeah, believe me, it's flightless, but it's got a big beak. It goes hunting around for grubs and everything. You know, typical kiwi. You never want to take one home, believe me, because all it does is kiwis eats roots, shoots, and leaves.
It does. It's a nocturnal bird.
However you want to take that one, believe me. Yeah, believe me, most kiwi males are exactly like that too. Your fridge is never safe around us Kiwi guys. If you really want to put it in a context, Kiwi is definitely us, but we have our own airline, so we can fly as well.
Yep.
Yeah, even though a Kiwi
Perfect.
is... Yeah. Got to be honest with you. Now, this is rather amusing. A couple of years ago, I was actually in a McDonald's, and we have a Kiwi breakfast in McDonald's. Maybe you guys have the equivalent of being the Great Canadian Breakfast or something like that, you know, eggs, bacon, sausage, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing here, right?
Okay.
And two Canadians were ordering their breakfast, and the young lady says, "Would you like a Kiwi breakfast?" And the first guy gets really irate and says, "You can't eat Kiwis. You know, they're protected there, blah, 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 blah." Went right off the hook, right? The other guy just looked at her and went, "Just a small one." Yeah, it happens. It does happen. You know, we get Canadians in this country too, you know.
Right, you're in luck.
We do. Oh dear. I would have to thought fruit also. I would have thought fruit also, Ben. I don't know what Sean Adams is talking about, but
The
maybe
kiwi,
fruit.
why
Okay.
are we called Kiwi?
Oh, kiwi. Yeah, no. Honestly, the original kiwi fruit actually was called a Chinese gooseberry.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and
Wow.
it was grown here. They were dark green in colour when you opened them up and ate them. Today we produce what is called the gold version of that. Much sweeter, I've got to be honest, but I still prefer the old version as well. Traditionalist is what I was brought up on. But believe me, even Barbara's husband actually works in a kiwi fruit packing factory right now.
Okay.
They need forklift drivers, and he's an absolute expert at what he does. You know what I mean? So props to him, because he's keeping the world fed right now.
Yes.
You know, kiwis exported around the world. Couldn't be better.
Absolutely.
And got to be honest with you as well. Are you familiar with a young lady by the name of Ashley Pater?
Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to Ashley one day, and she's sitting there and she's slicing up a kiwi fruit while she's talking to me. I says to her, "It's kiwi abuse."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
She said, "Great, I never thought about it." Yeah. But she also listens to music from her fridge.
Oh, that's different. I've never heard of that either.
Oh, well, you know, she's got a fridge with a computer on it.
Oh, fancy.
And she tunes in, yeah, very fancy, believe me. She tunes into us from her fridge while she's in the kitchen abusing kiwi fruit. Don't attack a Kiwi like that. Believe me. But I also introduced... are you familiar with a thing called a lamington?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, neither was she. Believe me, you can catch them in the wild as long as you go to the bakery. They roam freely in the bakery, believe me, here in New Zealand. I'll get Barbara to send you a few pictures of them, you know what I mean? You just need a big net to catch them, but once you catch them, believe me, they're delicious. They really, really are. Especially if they've got cream in them. You know what I mean? We sent her the recipe and everything like that, so believe me.
Yeah.
But having said that, Ashley's doing really, really well with us here at Galaxy. 2 songs on the charts right now, been there forever, I got to be honest with you. And a little new project that she sent us as well, which is fantastic. We're playing that as well. It doesn't happen often that we get an artist that has a couple of songs on our top 40 here at Galaxy. And believe me, we have a lot of artists on our charts. Ben, hard-working, handshaking and amening, has come into our charts. And I've really, really got to congratulate you. Okay, it's number 21 and it's climbing. It rocked right on in at number 21. Not easy to do here at Galaxy. Tell me the secret behind hard-working, handshaking, amening, and 4,019 requests and climbing. How did you relate to our audience like that?
Wow, that is so cool. You know, honestly, when I write songs, and this goes for anybody that I've co-written with over the years and things like that, when you write a song, I always try and write from some sort of personal experience. And as I've mentioned before, my family means everything to me, and that's a huge part of why I do what I do and the success that I've had over the last number of years. And it was my dad who came home one day, and he said that he was at the mall, he was at a gas station or somewhere like that, and there was an older fellow that came down and sat on the bench beside him and says to him, "Son, do you want to know what the secret to life is?" And my dad looks at him and says, "Yeah, I think I would." And the fellow looks at him and says, "All you need to know is that life is about hard work, handshake, and amen." And my dad came home and he tells me this story, and all of a sudden that is what hit. That's what hit me. That's in true story from top to bottom. And so it was something that started in the family, something that came very close to my heart. And over the last number of years, through the course of the last 2 years of recording this record and everything like that, it felt like a song that just needed to be put out there as an uplifting thing for everybody, and that life is literally about hard work, the people that you're around, giving them a handshake and an amen, and that's what it's about right there.
Well, Ben, it's gone up 2 more since we've been talking about it, to be honest with you. It's gone up to 4,021 right now. Here, live, joined by Ben Klick himself. Here's hard-working, handshaking, amening, the song I Can't Get Away From in The Breakfast Show. Very cool, right? Very cool.
Thanks.
Sean Adams, 2 songs playing on Galaxy is fantastic. Yes, and not easy to do. Not easy to do at all. In fact, it's not easy getting an interview. And believe me, Barbara gets inundated by bands from around the world to want to be able to do these interviews and stuff like that. And when we're joined by royalty of music coming out of Kelowna, we have to stop and take notice. Ben is here, and we love that. Ben, I do have another couple of tracks. Unfortunately, we don't have the time today to be able to go through them, but can we catch up again? Can we get more music from you? Let's complete this album, and let's go down that road. I also says to you, I was going to talk to you about Shania Twain living here in New Zealand. She does own property down in Queensland. Queenstown.
Okay.
Queenstown. Have you heard of Queenstown?
Queenstown, no. I've heard of
Water.
Queensland.
Yeah, no, that's Australia. That's the place where men wander around in dresses and drive fast in women's dresses and call it drag racing. Yeah, there's a rainbow there too, apparently. But no, Queenstown.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Right.
when we do get you here, we'll take you up and show you, proudly, we'll show you around New Zealand. And
Okay.
if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings, for instance, the original set of Hobbiton is only about an hour and a half away from where we are. Oh, by the way, do you notice we may have changed studios since the last time we spoke?
Well, I was going to say it looks very different. I mean, there's a lot of the same sort of atmospheres and vibes and things like that around, but it looks different. Where'd you go?
Well, the last building we were actually renting, and we had an issue with our landlord, so we gave him the bird and moved out, literally, and we bought a place. So we're still in the vicinity, still in the immediate area, just that now we own our own building rather than pay rent to somebody else. You know what I mean? We'll wrap it up, but don't go anywhere, right? That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and an absolute pleasure today to, well, I think it's a part one of a part two story of Ben Klick and his brand spanking new music. I have asked him if he would come back again and release more new stuff from his album and discuss it, get in depth and tell me all the skinny about everything. And he knows my sense of humour, so you know, I'd be afraid actually, but never mind. He's opted to come along and come back again. Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure. Now, just before you do go, I just want to know, while you're looking at coming, you know, doing touring over in Scotland, for instance, maybe back in Italy for Domino, and I'm sure Domino would love to see you over there, and coming here to New Zealand, I was talking about Queenstown and Shania Twain owning property down there. Queenstown is a little boutique kind of town, wanting to be a city, if you know what I mean. Now, first thing that'll strike you about Queenstown is flying in there. Literally, it's wall-to-wall wall. It's mountains everywhere. The turbulence on the plane is fantastic. It is. Now, believe me, I'm a skydiver, and I have been for many, many years, and I always enjoy going into Queenstown or going into Wellington, actually. Believe me, the bumpiness, the thermals and the updrafts, they're just wonderful to make the whole deal going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had an American guy sitting beside me the last time I was flying into Queenstown, and he's white knuckling at me. Sweat was coming off this man, and he looks at me, he says, "Do you think we're going to crash?" I says, "Don't worry about it, bro, it'll take us right to the scene of the crime." Yeah, no, believe me, when he got off the plane, I am not kidding, he did the Pope thing. He kissed the ground.
Oh.
He was that scared, you know. But when you fly into Queenstown, and now, as I said, it's a kind of boutique kind of place. All the A-listers, well, prior to pandemic anyway, go there. I mean, Kevin Costner goes there, Keanu, Tom Cruise, you know, all the guys go there. It's a nice little place to go and get away from the paparazzi and take your significant others and, you know, have some fun. So, but you never know who you might bump into there, Ben, I got to be honest. But you don't want to bump into me.
Oh, why not? I was going to say, because if you've skydived for a while, that's something that I've always kind of wanted to try. So I kind of want to go just so that we can skydive. I don't want to bump into you while we're falling from the air, but I mean, you could probably teach me a few things.
I would be honoured to take you for a jump out of a plane. I really, really would. In fact, I'd be more than honoured to be able to push you out of a perfectly good plane. But the reason why you don't want to bump into me in Queenstown is literally, Ben, I'll throw you off a bridge.
Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't come then.
Well, no, we have a thing down there. It's called bungee jumping.
Oh, okay.
Right, and you're not...
Well, as long as I'm connected to something, I'm okay with it.
Well, you're not Australian. We'll attach the bungee. It's that simple. You want to... let me give you a story, a true story, literally. Happened not so long ago, actually, before the pandemic thing happens. Is the local airport, Rotorua, gives me a call every now and again because they do get people who want to go and have a bit of a skydive. You know what I mean? So from time to time, I get a phone call from them. This one day, I get this phone call. So I go to the airport, go to the dressing room, go and get dressed, and I just sit out on the chairs while I'm watching these people at the counter talking to the lovely receptionist there, and she's explaining what's going on and how it's going to happen and all that sort of stuff, and she's fitting them out with the skydiving suits and the helmets and the pack and everything like that. And this guy says, I do have an instructor coming, don't I? And she goes, oh yes, don't worry about it. You know, and then the plane arrives. And of course she's escorting him onto the plane, and I'm walking behind them, and as they're getting onto the plane, I shuffle past them and get up the back of this guy. My mate actually clicks me in to this guy, right? Didn't say a word all the way through this. And you can see he was wondering who the heck I was. Maybe I'm the instructor. You know, so we're shuffling to the door, and just as we're leaning forward, I tap him on the helmet and says, "You been an instructor long?"
And what'd you say?
Well, I got a lot of scream on the way down. Scared the living hell out of him. I really, really did. He really didn't know what. When he got on the ground, he says, seriously, that was the funniest joke ever played on me, because I actually believed it as we were leaving the plane.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Absolutely. Ben, we are going to have to move on right now, but please, 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 will you come back? Can we complete this interview? I think it's only half done now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more, like we were saying, it's just, I think it was off the air. There's a lot of different emotional songs that are in the record that I think would be really cool to send out to your listeners and all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, I say let's do it again. We'll find a day and we'll release the rest of them.
Very cool, my friend, because that excites me. It really, really does. So hang in there, my friend. We're going to do a couple of crazy things now, but I'll switch over to the other studio and let's go out with Al Stewart and Year of the Cat.